I never know what to say in the beginning of a video. I just feel so uncomfortable. I'm just gonna make this awkward for all of us. Hello, I'm Rachel, and welcome to my kitchen. Well, our kitchen. Hey friends, today we are here in my kitchen and we're gonna be making kombucha. So I actually have been doing kombucha for about 6 weeks now, so I'm still really new to it. I'm still learning. I'm just experimenting. When I was first learning and researching how to make kombucha, it was something I really have wanted to do for a long time. I drink a lot of it and it's obviously expensive when you buy it at the store, but I was overwhelmed. There's so much information out there, and when I was watching videos and reading about it, I felt like there was all these things that I needed to buy, and one kit that someone had posted about was $400, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to do this, and I just felt really discouraged. And then finally I was like, okay, I remember when I was a teenager, my mom was making it, and that was before Instagram was a thing. That was before YouTube. Like, my mom didn't watch YouTube. I don't know how she learned about this, but she somehow got a scoby and she got started making it with just a jar and then saved bottles that we had from kombucha that we were buying from the store. So literally, like, didn't cost hardly anything at all. Really, the money that she put into it was for the big jar and the tea and the sugar. So super affordable. And I was like, if she could do it then without all of the information that was out, not that that was that long ago, I'm not that old, but without all of the information that I'm looking at now, I was like, I can do it, and I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm trying to make that a new habit in my life instead of feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I have to buy all these fancy things and it has to be perfect, it has to be done just right. I'm just gonna start trying things and having fun with it, and so that's what I've done here. So like I said, I started about 6 weeks ago, so I do already have kombucha brewing. So we're gonna do two things today. We're gonna do that second ferment, but we're also gonna start a brand new one. And that is because this jar, I have a second jar over there, you can't see it yet, but over on the other side of the counter, I have set up for where we're gonna do our second ferment. I encourage you to do your own research. This is not a full tutorial, I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing. But this jar that I use is about 1.5 gallons, and it doesn't make enough kombucha for Pete and I to both have some as frequently as we would like while the batch is brewing. So in my house, it takes about 2 weeks, and we can drink through that in about 1 week. And so we have a whole week of no kombucha waiting for the next batch to be ready. So I figure if I have two 1.5 gallon jars going, that should be enough to get us through. So starting out, all I did was buy this jar. It was about $25 at Target. You don't have to do that. The recipe that I started with was actually for 1 gallon, and I just made it bigger. You can start with just a gallon mason jar. You can even start with a 1/2 gallon one and just adjust the recipe accordingly. And then I also ordered a scoby and starter culture from Fermentaholics. I found them on Amazon, and so it just came in a bag almost just like this. This is the sugar, but it came in a bag that looked just like this, and it had about a cup of starter liquid and a scoby in there. I have since learned from watching, there's a YouTuber that I like to watch. I think their channel is called You Brew Kombucha, but I've learned that you don't have to keep a scoby in your kombucha in order for it to work. It's actually the liquid from a batch that's already established that makes it work. So what you can also do instead of ordering that, I think that what I ordered was about $13 on Amazon, and it came with the scoby, the starter culture, and pH test strips. You can also just buy a bottle of kombucha at the store and start with that. From what I've read, it has to be original flavored. However, my mom bought a flavored one. It was fruit flavored or whatever, and she's got her started just fine with that. So like I said, experiment, try it out. I encourage you to do your own research and try it and see what works best for you. So yes, so we're gonna get this new batch started. Now that I already have mine going, I don't need to order a starter culture or buy a store-bought kombucha. I'm just gonna take what I already have made, take some out of there and put it in the new batch, and then save some more to keep that current batch going. So I've got my recipe here. The first thing that we're gonna do is get the tea brewing, because you don't want to put your scoby in with hot liquid. So I like to get the tea brewing first, that way it has time to cool, and then so while that's cooling, we'll move over to the other side of the counter and bottle up what we have that's ready and go from there. Okay, so first I need 3 cups of water, and my measuring cups over here. I've got my water filter back here, nice and full. We're gonna use a lot of water for this, so I made sure that it was really full. And I also should add, full disclosure, I have a cat. She's a little bit of an asshole and does whatever she wants. She's behind the camera right now, but she's listening, so she's probably gonna, retaliate here in a minute. But she loves to be on the counters, and if that is something that bothers you, I apologize. It is something that has bothered me, and I always said if I had a cat, I would never let her on the counter, but now I have a cat, and sometimes you just have to pick your battles. She loves to be up here, and she especially loves to help cook. She's like a little baker, and she's looking at me right now. I'm actually getting kind of scared. I love you, cat. She loves to help me with sourdough, and she was also pretty interested in the kombucha. So hopefully she'll just take a nap and do her own thing during this video, but she might jump up on the counter. So it is what it is. Okay, so I've got 2 pots here on the counter because I'm just gonna make 2 batches. So I'm gonna put 3 cups of water in each pot. And like I said, you don't need a lot of money to get started with this. Most of my dishes are either from Goodwill or from family, and you just start with what you have. I'll show you that I did just recently order some bottles for the second ferment off of Amazon. They're like those pop top kind. You'll see them in a second. And I'm just gonna try using those because I would like to try to get my kombucha to be a bit more fizzy. But the past 2, I've done this twice now, the second ferment. The other 2 times that I've done this, I have like a jelly jar that I use. I have a juice bottle that I saved. Anything that's glass, I've been using it. I encourage you to go secondhand, borrow from a friend, trade, go to Goodwill or the thrift store, that sort of thing. But these bottles that I'm using, this is my first time using them, and they were only $17 on Amazon, so not bad at all. But like I said, I did not start out with them. This is my first time using them. Okay, so we've got 3 cups of water in each pot, and we are going to bring it to a boil. Okay, I'm gonna get that boiling. I'll see you in a second. All right, so one of my pots is now boiling, so I'm gonna get the tea in there. So what we're gonna do next is let the tea steep for 5 to 10 minutes, and I am doing black tea. I bought this box of tea at Target, and it came with 100 tea bags. I might see if Costco has one like this that's even bigger. And also, I apologize if you can hear it. My neighbors love to leave their dog outside to bark all day. She is barking. I think she's barking because Pete's out there, so hopefully once he comes in, she'll stop barking. Okay, looks like both pots are boiling now. So I'm just going to tie these in a knot, that way it's easier to get them out at once. And then just going to let them sit for 10 minutes. So it's 12:04, so at 12:14 I'll pull those out. 6, 9. Oh, and here comes the cat. No, Furiosa, no. No. That's hot. down. Go, get down. When I had stopped, oops, oh no. When I stopped recording while I was waiting for the water to boil, she came running in here, meowing, wanting to be fed. So I fed her over on her cat tree over there. And I was like, please just eat your food and go take a nap. She does what she wants. And tomorrow is her first birthday. 1 year ago tomorrow, Pete was out for a walk to go to the store to get some snacks, and his headphones died. And all of a sudden he hears meowing, and he looks over, or crying or whatever, he looks over and sees this tiny little newborn kitten squirming around on the ground, filthy dirty, in the sun. She still had her placenta attached. And he called me and was like, what do I do? And I was very sure that her mom was going to hear her crying and come back for her. So he kept walking to the store, did his shopping, came back. She was still there, hadn't moved. She was just resting her little tiny head on a rock. She was literally like this big. So he brought her home. We bottle fed her. And I can't believe that's already been a year. We love her. She's very spoiled. But I guess when you are a tiny little cat that grows up in a house with 4 big dogs that really don't like cats, you're bound to be a spoiled little princess. And the dogs love her. We all do. Okay, so I'm gonna let these sit. This one till 12:17, that one till 12:14. And once those are done, we'll add the sugar. Our tea has been steeping now for 10 minutes, so I'm gonna take it out and add the sugar. And another thing to mention, when you're making kombucha, always make sure that you have very clean hands. I guess that could be said for when you're making anything though, right? Okay, so we need 1.5 cups of sugar. We are using organic cane sugar. This is from Target. I do want to look into seeing where I can find a bigger bag because I'm going through this pretty quickly. I set the tea bags in there so it's a little bit dusty from the tea. Not dust, but tea dust, tea particles. Oops, almost spilled that. And then I do turn this pan back on just to heat it up because it's now been cooling for 10 minutes. So I like to turn it back on just to help that sugar dissolve faster. Low, give it a stir. And I'm going to do this next one. It is still rather hot. Hot enough to burn my fingers. So this recipe that I'm following, it actually came on the back of the package from the scoby and starter liquid that I ordered from Fermentaholics. I have just adapted it because that recipe was to make 1 gallon and my jars are 1.5 gallons. And then just stir it until you don't hear any more sugar crystals on the bottom. Polu came in here to visit. All right, I'm not seeing any more sugar in there. Turn that one off and stir this one. So the one thing I don't like about these tea bags is they have staples holding the string together, like holding the string onto the bag and then onto the tag. So I can't throw them in my compost unless I go through and pick out all those staples, which I'm not doing. So it is a bummer. I wish that they were fully compostable. I may look into ordering loose leaf black tea next time. So if you're using loose leaf tea, you want to do 9 teaspoons. And if you're using tea bags, I'm doing 9 tea bags. Okay, turn this off. And now we are going to let this sit and cool and move over to the other side of the counter and start on our second ferment. So bottling up what we already have brewing. Okay, here we are at the other side of my kitchen. You get a better view of my fridge now and the coupons that I love to save. I love when we get coupon ads in the mail. I never really even use them because I don't eat Burger King that often, but it's a coupon, you know? I just save it, and then if I ever am craving Burger King, then I've got coupons. Okay, so these are the bottles I was mentioning. I got them on Amazon. They were about $17. And they are supposed to work great for holding in that carbonation and just making your kombucha more fizzy during this second fermentation process. That's where the fizz comes in. You don't have to do this. Once your kombucha has brewed for, mine takes about 2 weeks, you should taste it. I think they say after like the 5-day mark, start tasting it, and you're just going off of taste preference. I will say it's a little bit hard because it's warm and it does taste better when it's cold, but you just are waiting for it to get less sweet, basically. I don't know the full science behind this, but something eats the sugar, makes it less sweet, and so that's what we're looking for as far as flavor goes. I just know that mine takes about 2 weeks. I do still taste it here and there, but like I said, the flavor does change when it's cold. So during the second fermentation process, which like I said, you don't have to do, but I'm doing because I want to flavor it and I would like to get it to be a little bit carbonated. So that happens when you add sugar. So you're feeding the cultures in here, I think is what it is, and it's making carbon dioxide, and that's what makes it fizzy. So these bottles trap in that carbon dioxide, and supposedly better than like a twist top. But like I said, in the past, I have not used these. I have just used bottles from store-bought kombucha. This is a jelly jar. This was lime juice. So just use whatever you have on hand. You can order these if you would like. So today I'm gonna flavor mine with pineapple juice. And yes, I am also gonna save this jar. I don't really know how much to add. So far I've only done strawberry flavored. So what I did was bought frozen strawberries, mixed it with about a tablespoon of sugar and 1 lemon, and it was so good. And I just poured about like an inch or so into the bottle, and so I'm just gonna do that same thing with the pineapple juice. I don't know if I should add sugar to this one because like I said, the sugar is what makes the carbonation. And this isn't going to be sugary when it's done. I can't think right now. The cultures the bacteria, whatever it is in here that eats the sugar, so the final product won't be sweet. So from what I have heard from watching YouTube videos is that you want, at this point, you want it to be a little bit, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. You want it to be a little bit sweeter than you would like your final product. So when I mix the pineapple juice and the kombucha together, it should taste a little bit sweeter than I want the end result. And then I like mine pretty like bitter or like sour, tart, I guess. I don't know what it would be. Words are hard for me apparently, or descriptions are hard. But I have said this many times now so far, do your own research. I encourage you to learn on your own and don't listen to everything I say. So what I do is I just put a cloth on the top and I hold it down with rubber bands. The gnats are really bad right now at this time of year and they love this. So they really want to get in there. So I just make sure to put rubber bands on the top to keep them out. And I'm going to keep everything covered. That way we don't get any gnats in there. So I'm going to start off by washing my hands. I'm going to reach in there to grab out my scoby, so I want to make sure that my hands are nice and clean. And since I am making a second batch, I'm going to set aside, I'm going to try and see if I can peel apart this scoby and put one in each container. That way I've just already got it separate for the jars. So I'm just going to carefully take this off. It's a little sticky. And reach in and grab this guy. So this is something that naturally forms on the top during the fermentation process. It's a, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So this is the SCOBY that I bought. This is what we started out with, this little round guy. And this is what has grown on its own, grown to fit the jar. So I think I can just peel it apart carefully. It's got layers, but it's like really stuck together in some spots. It feels very weird, and it's also making some interesting noises. I think it's okay if it rips, hopefully, because it certainly did. Okay, I'm going to save this top piece for the new batch. And then, rinse my hands quickly before a gnat gets in there. I am going to save 2 cups of the liquid for each container. So you don't need a jar with a spout like this, but I do it just for convenience. Oh, and I can see it's already fizzy. I don't think you can hear that from there, but you might be able to see the bubbles. And now that I've got my SCOBY out, I'm just going to cover this back up. Do not want gnats in there. Yeah, it's like fizzy. Nice. So I am, of course, going to get less from this batch since I am, or less bottles since I'm setting aside more. Oh, what happened? So I don't have a tripod for my phone, and I meant to buy one yesterday and I totally forgot, but I'm using Pete's gimbal, and it has to be like turned on to hold my phone up because it's like a stabilization thing. But it just overheated and my phone fell, and so that's what happened there. So I'm gonna wait for it to cool off, I guess, and then keep going, or maybe try and just prop my phone up somewhere. We'll see. We are back in action, thanks to Pete. Okay, now I am going to, oops, why did I do that? I have a funnel, since these are narrow mouth jars. And I'm gonna first add the pineapple juice. Shake it up. And I think what I'm gonna do, oh, my wrist, I hurt my wrist somehow. Oh, I need a big, strong man. Called in the reinforcements. Oh, yay, thank you.
That fucker was on there, sorry. French. French.
Told him he can't swear on the videos. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is mix up this one jar and then taste it and see if I feel like I need to add more sugar. Like I said, it's not gonna be sweet in the final product, it's just gonna be more carbonated. We want the sugar, so we wanna feed it. I should really do some research on what I'm talking about before I start filming. I got a fuzz in here. This funnel was the only one I could find at Target, and it's like silicone, which is nice because it collapses, but I don't like that because I've got animals and then hair always sticks to the silicone. Okay, so I'm gonna add, I've got 1 cup in here. Well, let me put it to the 1 cup line, and then I'm gonna add 1/4 cup and just try that. I didn't measure anything the last 2 times I've done this, but I kind of would like to be better about that, because then if I'm like, oh, that tasted really good, I can remember, I'll know exactly how I made it and how much I put. So let's try 1/4 cup. A little more, that's okay. All right, now I'm going to fill it up. You know, I think that's probably not the best way to do that. I'm going to, shoot, it'd be easier to put it in a measuring cup. That way I'm not trying to balance the funnel and hold the bottle and do the spout at the same time. So I'm using bottled pineapple juice here, as you can see. I've used frozen fruit the last couple times I've done this. You can use fresh fruit and you can juice it, or you can blend it, or you can buy concentrate. There's all different things that you can do. I can add more than that. Ooh, that was really fizzy. Okay, I'm gonna taste it. It's pretty good, definitely sweet. So I'm not gonna add sugar. I'm gonna keep it as is for now, and then if I feel like it still didn't get carbonated in 2 weeks when I do this again, I will, I'm gonna wipe the top of that. I will add sugar. So this will just be an experiment. Okay, I'm gonna keep filling these and then I'll be back. I've got all 6 of my bottles filled and I actually still have more kombucha in here, so it's making a lot more than I was expecting. These bottles are holding approximately 2 cups of kombucha, and then I ended up doing a 1/3 cup of pineapple juice. So it's pretty good. So this will tell you about how much 1.5 gallons of kombucha will give you. And this is a sticky process. It's dripping everywhere on the floor and on the counter. Even though I'm using the funnel, it's still dripping. So my hand is sticky. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. You're gonna have to clean up after. Wipe everything down. I haven't sealed my bottles yet because I'm gonna wipe the tops of those as well. And I think I'm gonna make some notes on what I'm doing today on my recipe just so that I have to look at next time. I can make sure that I have enough bottles ready. This one I'm just gonna put right into the fridge and I'm gonna drink it today once it's cold. I like it plain and I'm not worried about it not being fizzy. It's not a problem. I think this one I'll add some pineapple juice too. I'm not gonna measure it. Looks good. So if you're making this just for one person, this means that, how big is this bottle? So these are all 16-ounce bottles. So that means that you would have more than enough to have one bottle every day for a week. Because remember, we set aside 2 cups for this batch and for our new one that we're starting. So if you were only making one, you would probably get about 8 16-ounce bottles. Or no, probably 9 because I'm not counting the one that I'm putting in the fridge. Okay, I think our spout is clogged. But this is full. I'm gonna go ahead and there's about 1 inch left in here. I think I might just rinse that out. Rinse this jar out. I should have stirred this first. I forgot to do that. Maybe I'll just pour it directly into this other bottle. This is awesome. Way more than I was expecting. I didn't know what to expect really since I was setting aside some to start another batch. Gnats. I need to get these bottles closed. Okay, there we we've got it all bottled up. How exciting. So I'm gonna get these rinsed and clean up my mess. I'm gonna rinse out this jar, and then I'll see you back here in a minute when it's time to mix up the new batch. The jars were really sticky, so what I did was I washed them with a sponge. We've got now two, this jar was sticky, but so were the ones that we're pouring it into. So we've got two 1.5 gallon clean jars ready to go. We've got our scobies and our starter culture, our recipe, clean utensils, lots of filtered water, and our tea and sugar mixture, which has been sitting, cooling. I did cover it with a lid, but it should be okay because of the amount of cool liquid we're gonna add it to. Got clean hands and we're ready to go. So I'm gonna start first by, oh, and you know what? We're not ready to go because I need my measuring cup. Where did I put that? You watch this real quick. Now we're ready to go. Had to give that a quick wash because it did have the pineapple juice in it. Okay, so we need a total of 21 cups of water, but we already have 3 in our pots. So I'm gonna measure out 17 cups of water, and it would be very handy if I had a bigger measuring cup, but I don't, so it's just gonna take me a few minutes. Maybe not, maybe a minute, but I'm gonna count. Okay, that's 17 cups. I need to fill up my pitcher. Oh, no, never mind. It's still draining. Okay, I'm gonna do the next one. I did need to fill up my pitcher, but what I decided to do is I'm just gonna take a Sharpie and make a mark on this jar to mark where 17 cups is, and then next time I won't have to measure it out 1 cup at a time. Okay, so now I'm gonna pour in my tea mixture, and this is where the last time I did this I spilled and got it, the clean jar, all sticky. So hopefully I don't do that again. Just gonna give it a quick stir. Oops. I really don't want to spill this. Perfect. Whoop. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna stir it up in here. And you'll see right now it looks really dark, but as the fermentation process happens, it's gonna lighten up a lot in color. And you'll probably notice the difference between how this looks right now and how the batch looked that we just bottled. It was a lot lighter than this. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure it's not hot. No, it's cold actually. That was a lot of cold liquid to add in there, or cool, I guess. Now it's time to add our SCOBY and our starter culture. So my kombucha's name, or my SCOBY, whatever his name is, I just had it, Francine. But now this new one that we're starting is gonna be her baby, so I'm gonna need to name that one too, I think. What should Francine's baby's name be? And I'm having a bit of a back and forth in my mind on where I want to keep this. I've been keeping it on the counter, but Pete hates when I leave stuff on the counter, and now that I have 2, it's going to take up even more space. So I was thinking I might keep it in the closet in the food pantry that we just made. If you watched the video that I posted, or that I did yesterday, I posted this morning. If you watch that video, then you'll see that we turned a spare closet, we did this together, we turned a spare closet into a food pantry. And I might keep these in there, but for some reason I feel weird about that. I feel sad locking my kombucha in a closet, and that closet is a little bit cold, so I don't know if it's ideal, but is that weird? Is that weird to feel sad about locking it in a closet? Okay, I've got 2 clean towels here, so I'm gonna cover it. And I'm gonna put a rubber band on. And there we go. Awesome. So now I'm just gonna wait for my water filter to finish filtering through and then do our next one. Here we go, you guys. We've got our bottles here in the pantry, and I did end up putting, excuse me, the jar, or the jar of kombucha itself in the pantry as well. It is convenient to have it out of the way in here. And I still have to make the second batch, but I'm still waiting for the filter to finish filtering through so that I can do that. But I just realized it's almost 1:30 and I have not eaten anything yet today, so I'm gonna take a break here and make myself some lunch. But thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned something. I hope this encourages you to just get out and try something new. If it's something that you've been wanting to try for a long time and you're feeling overwhelmed or nervous, just go ahead and do it and experiment with it and just have fun. That's how we learn, is by making mistakes and trying new things, and it's exciting. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for hanging out, and I will check back in a couple days. I'm gonna let these sit for about 3 days, and then I'm gonna pop one in the fridge, and then I'm gonna do a taste test when it's cold. So I'll check in and just make a quick short video just to let y'all know how it tasted and if it's good, if it's fizzy, and all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.